This is one I've thought and prayed long and hard about. This issue of gay marriage, and in a broader sense, acceptance of homosexuality. Let me first acknowledge that I truly cannot relate to same-sex attraction. I am a very heterosexual man. And now, in the interest of full disclosure, let me say I have a brother who's gay, and from whom I've been estranged the past 4 years. Also, I was once engaged to a woman who had had a lengthy lesbian relationship. I have long been opposed to gay marriage. I have, however, always been a supporter of extending all of the legal rights of marriage to same-sex couples. The fact that the gay lobby wasn't satisfied with domestic partnership status makes it clear to me that maybe what this was really all about was power. The power of a minority to impose its will on the majority, to force recognition as completely legitimate, that which lots of good, well-meaning folks have very deep objections to.
We can be together, we can be lovey-dovey. We don't need a piece of paper to validate our love for each other. No, that's not the fight. The fight is just having equal rights.
People who are trapped in the homosexual lifestyle, they're in constant rebellion with order, with their natural order, with natural law.
A marriage should be between a man and a woman. No offense to anybody out there, but that's how I was raised, and that's
the real legitimate way to be married is a man and a woman. That's the only way that this civilization can, go any further than what it is to this day.
The Spirit of God within me leads me to believe that gay men and women have every right to be happy, to love whomever and in whatever way their hearts lead them. They deserve our loving embrace and, yes, our acceptance, not our scorn and disapproval.
We have to understand barbarians need to be educated. They need to be disciplined, and just because someone feels it or thinks it doesn't mean that we're supposed to go down that road.
I'm convinced that 50 years from now, gay marriage will be legal across America, that folks then will wonder what all the fuss was about back when gay marriage was the focus of serious debate.
We know the majority of people in Indiana, like the majority of Americans in every other state, support marriage as one man and one woman, don't we?
How do we want it? Now. What do we want? When do we want it? Now. What do we want?
But now, having said that, let me also recite the words of St. Augustine, which could be relevant. If something is wrong, even if everybody else is doing it, it's still wrong. And if something is right, even if nobody else is doing it, it's still right.
Not one civilized culture in the entire history of mankind, including those few that have been relatively tolerant of homosexuality, has ever allowed marriage between members of the same sex as norm for family life.
And so it's time to go to the Bible. There are 31,102 verses in this King James Version. About 6 of them have been widely used to condemn homosexuality and therefore same-sex marriage.
I have to go with what the Bible say. I have to. And the Bible say it's an abomination.
In the God's Torah, he states that gay lifestyle is a sin.
It's against our religion. It's not acceptable at all to be a homosexual.
It just says simple, man don't lay with another man, or not a woman not with another woman.
It's in the King James Bible that homosexuality is a sin, as it is in the Catholic Bible.
Without question, the Bible is an incredible collection of books and has provided comfort, hope, and guidance to hundreds of millions, perhaps billions of people over the course of nearly 3,000 years. Strictly as a matter of faith, I guess it's okay to refer to the Bible as the Word of God. But knowing something about the history of these texts we've come to consider sacred, and about the legislative process that created the canon, what we call the Bible, I wonder if we ought really to think of this book as the literal, absolute, immutable Word of the Almighty. I believe this book provides an amazing outline for life and for living, not a blueprint.
The Bible is the Word of God through the words of human beings, speaking in the idiom of their time. And the richness of the Bible comes from the fact that we don't take it as literally so, that it was dictated by God.
In doing some of my research for this commentary, I came across a term I'd not heard of before, bibliolater, one who treats their Bible like an idol. I sense a lot of bibliolatry in the fight against same-sex marriage.
The Bible's against it, God's against it, I'm against it, and if you've got any sense, you're against it.
In Romans, it's very clear that God says it's unnatural.
God is not with you, even being a homosexual. God is not with you and being a lesbian.
Truth is, the Bible is used a lot like a food buffet, with folks choosing what they want to take literally and skipping over those things they don't.
Moses teaches in Leviticus that it is an abomination to eat shrimp. It is an abomination to eat a rabbit.
There's other law that says you shouldn't wear linen and wool together.
They are failing to read the Bible within the context of its authors and of its original culture.
To just pick out this is the one that we're going to follow, the Bible doesn't come that way. It's selective reading.
Personally, I have my doubts that God is very pleased with homosexuality. It's an aberration within the human species, not, I believe, what He intended. And yet, neither do I believe that God views same-sex coupling as an abomination, as something loathsome and sinful. A relationship bound by love and fidelity, regardless the gender mix, I believe is pleasing to God. A line written by the psychotherapist, Dr. Nancy Haish, strikes me as relevant. At the end of the day, I must love, I must bless, I must believe.
What I learned is that really it has to be about me. It has to be about God interfering in my life and releasing His power in my life to change my character and my destiny. Because really, I can't change anybody else.
In putting together this report on gay marriage, I've had a chance to view bits and pieces from several same-sex marriage ceremonies. The first ones I looked at made me uncomfortable. But the more I saw, the more I experienced a different sensation, a sense of acceptance, bordering on happiness for the couples involved. Their deep love for each other and the joy they got from the ceremony becoming more and more evident.
That I'ma love you forever.
You're my best friend.
You are the someone.
My companion.
The Pope saying, quote, "If someone is gay and he searches for the Lord and has goodwill, who am I to judge?"
I'm not Catholic, but I agree with Pope Francis. If those passages in the Bible condemning homosexuality do in fact reflect the true feelings of God, there will be a day of reckoning. And likewise, for those who've chosen to take those passages literally and have used them like a whip to lash gay people, there will also come judgment. For they've chosen to disregard the words of Christ, chronicled in the 27th chapter of Matthew, that after love of God, love of each other is the greatest commandment.
Thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. On these two commandments hang all the law and the prophets.
To my gay brothers and lesbian sisters out there, I prevail upon you to understand the depth and the sincerity of the opposition to your lifestyle. Have some appreciation for the fact that lots of wonderful people believe with all their heart that what you're doing is wrong. No question but that the tide is turning. Your side is winning this fight.
It's driven by two things: the arrival of a new generation that now makes up over 25% of adults in this country, millennials, who are very supportive. But you're also finding a lot of people of all ages who have changed their minds on this over time.
And finally, to those of you who believe homosexuality and gay marriage are wrong, it would truly make for a better world were you to be more Christ-like and embrace those you consider sinners, to be more accepting of the fact that their sexuality differs from ours, and yet, like us, they're doing what comes naturally, seeking a loving, committed, intimate relationship to provide them with companionship, happiness, and satisfaction for the rest of their lives. And so you can count me among those folks who have evolved on the issue of gay marriage. I now support the right of gay couples to be legally wed. And that is my 2 cents for this week.